Welcome to the Big Mac Show. This is the 49ers offense playoff edition. So, we're going to talk about the offense today and the things that they need to do to be able to beat the Seattle Seahawks, which is stick to the game plan, do it better than you did last time. No unnecessary flags of false starts or holding on the offensive line. And just need to execute on every level. So the San Francisco 49ers coming into this playoff game, they are riding a 10 game win streak going into this playoffs. And it's going to, some say it's going to rain a little bit. There's going to be some weather over there in Santa Clara. So it might affect the game just a little bit. But I see the San Francisco 49ers winning this game 35-7. I'm going to give Seattle 7 points in this game. And the reason being is because our defense is really good. And I talked about that on my 49ers defensive playoff edition. So this is the offense playoff edition. We're going to dive into it. So San Francisco 49ers, George Kittle said it best. The way that you try to defend the San Francisco 49ers, if you try to take away the rushing option, which is it's going to be a hard feat for them to do, and I don't think that they can do it. So just knowing that the San Francisco 49ers is going to be able to run the ball on this Seattle team. If they run the ball on the Seattle team and they eclipse 100 yards rushing, this game will be over quickly. So if they do that in the first half and come out just blazing a trail of dust, Seattle is not going to have anything going for them this week. So if Seattle can get their rushing game going, their offense, they have some pretty big weapons there. And if they can do that, then it's going to be a game. We saw what the Raiders did, but I can tell you right now, the offense for the San Francisco 49ers is going to win this game big. They're going to put up 35 points. They could even put up more and rest their starters in the third quarter. That's what I view happening because the offensive line is gelling. They've been doing a pretty good job, and now they have a really feel for one another's game. And another thing that I watched on Dave Lombardi's interview with Nick Bosa and Trent Williams and even Christian McCaffrey. Like after a game, Nick Bosa would take a chair, sit next to big Trent Williams, and he will go over what happened in the game, what he could do better, and back and forth with Trent on that. And one thing that Trent Williams said, that lining up against Nick Bosa, the best edge rusher, defensive player of the year, he's got to be the defensive player of the year. There's no question that Nick Bosa is the defensive player of the year. And even some are saying that he should be the MVP because what he does on the field translate to just to the most valuable player on his team. And I think that he should be in consideration for that. It shouldn't be just an offensive award. It should also go to a defensive player that makes a difference for his team. And Nick Bosa definitely does that. So back to the offensive side of things. George Kittle, in his interview, he said, this is what he said. Now I'm just phrasing here. He said, what are you going to do? You're going to try to put two people on Christian McCaffrey? Good luck. Then there's a one-on-one for either him or even for Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, and then we have Deebo Sanders coming back. And so not only that, just imagine if they put in the backfield Christian McCaffrey and Mitchell at the same time. Good luck. There's not, I don't care what kind of linebackers there are, there's not speedy linebackers, and one of the fastest linebackers is not in the playoffs, and that's Simmons for the Arizona Cardinals. So he's not going to be there guarding or mirroring these running backs, and you need a speed guy like him to be able to do that. So how are you going to defend the San Francisco 49ers offense, especially if they're coming out of the backfield with two guys that are fast as heck? I mean, Christian McCaffrey he's a quick twitch guy. He can get out in space, and he can even, I mean, he does things that the wide receivers do. So he can go line up out there, and they can have an empty backfield. And just imagine you put Christian McCaffrey out there, you get Mitchell out there who's a 4-3 guy. So who's going to cover all these guys? Yeah, they got some good fast guys on defense for the Seattle Seahawks, but there's only two guys that have that kind of, or one guy that has the fastest speed that's going to be on the field, and that he can't cover all of them. There's no way he can cover all of them. And what happens when you get schemed up by Kyle Shanahan, where he makes sure that George Kittle is being covered by a linebacker? You're not going to stop the San Francisco 49ers. So that's why I said there, and this is going to also be my prediction too, is that the San Francisco 49ers is going to put up 35 points, and the defense is going to hold Seattle to 7 points. So that's my prediction of what's going to happen on this Saturday when the San Francisco 49ers play the Seattle Seahawks. So going back to the offense, the way that San Francisco has attacked teams before is they get bodies on body, right? And then they have that jet sweep that comes around, and it'll go for long yardages, even touchdowns. And so I see that happening this weekend, that they're going to do that. They're going to get bodies on body. They're going to do some clear out routes, and Debo's going to go up the sideline, or Ray's going to go up the sideline. Heck, those kind of jet sweep plays, it'd be sweet if they can get Danny Gray involved and have him do a jet sweep. Just imagine with his speed of hitting that hole and just going straight through and getting a touchdown. So we look pretty good on defense. I think all of our defensive players are healthy and right on time for these playoffs. Dre Greenlaw, he may still have some issues with his back, but I don't see that keeping him from playing in this game, because he is the Seahawk killer. He's the guy that makes those plays. I mean, over and over and over again, I think he just gets up to play against his team, and he's going to he was well rested. His back, I think, is it's going to be good enough for him to play in this game. Even if they have to sit him, we have a good linebacking core that can be able to handle Seattle's offense. So our defense, the way that they play, will make our offense a lot better, because there's no way that they're going to be able to rush for over 100 yards on San Francisco. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. San Francisco is just too good on the run to be able to give up over 100 yards on them. So the season is over. The playoffs is here, and I see Brock Purdy doing his thing. I don't see him being rattled. He's a really good instinctual player. So he's got the instincts. He's got that presence in the pocket that if it's collapsing around him, that he can scramble out of there and make things happen. And those off scripts that we've seen and accustomed to, the way that Patrick Mahomes does with Kansas City, especially with Kelsey. Well, we're gonna see that here with his tight end, with Brock getting it to George Kittle, and George Kittle making things happen. You think about every single time In the last 5 games, we've seen it over and over again. George Kittle getting the ball, it be a 15-yarder, 20-yarder, uh, whatever, and in the red zone, they have become one of the best efficient red zone teams offense in the NFL since Brock Purdy took over. And that's huge. That's a big thing because if if Garoppolo was in there, I don't think that would happen. I don't think that he would be able to do those things that Brock Purdy's doing. For some reason, the ball, if it's not there in front of the end zone, Grant Cohn, he talked about this a lot, just on being able to see that when Garoppolo gets into the close to the end zone, he's throwing him to the flat on 1 yarder, and if it's not there, he's not going to even attempt to throw it into the end zone. And so that's happened a lot. I mean, I am a 49er fan. I've always been a 49er fan for as long as I've known football. So I grew up a rugby player, so I'm a rugby guy. But I love the game of football. I love watching the 49ers play. I've been a 49er fan since back in when we first got here to the States. So that's many, many decades ago. So just tells you how old I am. So anyways, the good thing about this offense is that we have so many weapons. We did see one of our interior linemen get hurt a couple games ago in Las Vegas, but I think they have the guys to be able to step up and be able to make things happen. So the keys to the game is running the football. They gotta have a steady diet of Christian McCaffrey and Mitchell and Mason and even Price. Having those four just do their thing. And I think for this game, Kyle Juszczyk, I think he's going to be used a lot more as far as touching the ball. So watch for him to get some runs when they're not expecting the fullback to carry the ball, and also passes, because we've seen him do it before where he catches those 20-yarders, some bombs there. Because I think Kyle Juszczyk is the guy that everybody forgets about, that he can do a lot of different things. So if they're double teaming Christian, they're double teaming our receivers, whether it be Debo or Ayuk or Jennings or whoever comes in there, Ray. They're double teaming those guys and having a safety and a linebacker on George Kittle. That'll be the perfect plan to get it to Juszczyk. Use him. I think that's gonna be the ingredient, is to all of a sudden, when all these plays are, everybody's teaming up on all of our other guys, to use Kyle Juszczyk. I think that's maybe I let the bag out and Seattle sees this. But like George Kittle said, we just line up, we do our script, we do everything that we plan on during the week, and it will work. So they got to line up man to man and see who's going to win this chess match. And the San Francisco 49ers have the advantage here because they're at home. I don't think the weather's going to be too much of a factor unless it's just drenching. Now, I got to say this. A lot of people kind of go back to that Chicago game where it was just like a tsunami. And not a tsunami, but, well, that's what they call it. But torrential downpour. And the rain was so much there in Soldier Field in Chicago. that it was hard to do things. They're not going to have. Um, I think they learn from their mistakes, and the good thing about home field advantage is that you are in your facility. You have the cleats that needs to be changed out at halftime, so you can adapt to the weather. So you have that advantage. I think the traveling team has that advantage too, but I think more so the home team because they know their home field and just getting the right cleats on and having that in your hometown is a big advantage. So those are the type of advantages that they're going to have is because they're at home. They know the weather. It's their field. They know the climate, the conditions that they need to prepare for, and then the other thing is Kyle Shanahan. I think he's going to dial up some plays that is going to feature Kyle Juszczyk a lot more. And then if that doesn't work, and they just go back to doing the things that Brock Purdy talked about with, the impromptu plays like playground plays. We've seen that happen where teams are not prepared for that kind of stuff. The Raiders a couple weeks ago did that on the 49ers where the plays broke down and then they took advantage of that because their quarterback got out and was able to hit those big plays. If that were to happen this week, I don't see, just looking at Geno Smith and the way that he was throwing the ball around, I don't see that happening. Now, Seattle does have a really good defense, but I don't think they have a defense that's going to stop the San Francisco 49ers offense. So I see Brock Purdy. He's going to be at least throwing for 2 to 3 touchdowns in this game. And our running backs, receivers, whoever touches the ball coming out of the backfield, they're going to have a big day. So I see them having at least 35 points this week. So in order for the San Francisco 49ers to make things happen, the keys to this game is going to be limiting the penalties. The ones that cost, that's like a 3rd and 1 and there's a false start. And on the right side, on the left side, it doesn't matter. I mean, they all been guilty of false starts or not knowing the count, which they shouldn't have a big problem with this week because they're at home. They have the home field. It's not going to be like the 12th man or up there in Seattle where the crowd is just so loud and it's hard to hear the count. We're going to have that advantage this week. So San Francisco, they just need to be able to do the things that they have done to get here. And those things are their preparation during the week, staying mentally focused on the game. Sure, they had a good season, 13-4, but this is the playoffs. Here, you cannot afford to win one game. You have to do it all. You got to get there. You got to get there to the Super Bowl, win it, and then you say, hey, we accomplished what we set out to do. We did the things that we needed to do to be able to get this far and win this game. And I think there's going to be a lot of happy San Francisco 49ers fans and the team and families if they go out there and mentally prepare and do exactly everything that they prepare to do every day during the week to get ready for games. So Fred Warner, he tells all the guys, hey, it's 1-0 every week. It's 1-0. One game at a time. Got to win it to stay in it. So you got to win it to go to the next round. And after that round, to the next one. And after that one, to the next one. So I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to come out blazing first, second quarter, third quarter, they're going to rest their starters, just like they did last week against Arizona. Now, it might get a little bit tricky if it ends up being like what happened last week, where it was a really close game in the first half, and then the second half they just came in and just took care of business. They need to do that right off the gate. Just take care of business. Get to the third quarter. Rest your guys. Get Josh Johnson to come in there. Get him some reps also, because in the playoffs you never know what's going to happen. So I think getting everybody involved, getting all their players that are on that 53-man roster, excluding Garoppolo, because he's still I don't think he's even gonna. He might just sign on if they not sign on, but he might be able to get suited up and everything for the last. If they make it to the NFC Championship game, then he might get suited up for that. But I see them getting out big, getting ahead, and resting their players, and which will be a good thing for the other players, so they can have a taste of real action in the playoffs and get the jitters or butterflies or whatever you want to call them, get them out. So the San Francisco 49ers need to take care of business that way. So the offensive line has got to do their thing. They've got to pass protect, and they got to open up those holes big. Whoever it is that we have come in as a tight end, we need them to do their job also. George Kittle talked about how everybody needs to execute, and do the things that they need to be technically sound and mistake free, because we've seen it before that if you do have mistake free games, you're going to win those games. If you don't, you're going to lose because you're behind the 8 ball. I mean, you can't start a game, be third down and 18, third down and 15, third down and 10. That's just a recipe for disaster, and it's not something that you want to put yourself behind the 8 ball that way. So what you want to do is you want to be able to execute, be technically sound, and know your assignments, and execute to try to be as perfect as you can. You don't need a perfect game to win this game, because I feel that San Francisco 49ers are head and above shoulders than this Seattle Seahawks team. They have just a depth. I mean, San Francisco 49ers, their depth is amazing. I mean, even into their practice squad. So there's a lot of guys on that practice squad that on another team they would be either first string or second string. But on this team, we're so deep, and that's what the San Francisco 49ers have, and it's a good job by their front office. So it's compliments to them and for putting together a roster like this, that they are able to have those players available to them. So it's pretty good that they're able to do those things, which says a lot about how each component in an organization needs to work well for this for everything to work out great. Okay, so many times we have seen this before, upsets and things like that. So the things that the San Francisco 49ers need to do, offensive line has to play well, limit the penalties, and they just need to execute on every level, which I believe the San Francisco 49ers team will do, and they'll be able to do it efficiently enough to get on to the second round of the playoffs and eventually to the National Football Conference championship and beat whoever it is in the NFC to make it to Glendale, Arizona. Make it to Glendale, Arizona. So if they make it to Arizona and they win it there, then Brock Purdy will have a homecoming there that he won't ever forget in his life. San Francisco 49ers will get their sixth ring, and everybody here will be looking to start a dynasty from this going forward. So offense has got to do its job. And I know I put special teams with the defense for my other video, but in this one, we're going to put back in this one also special teams, because I feel that the special teams really matter, defense and offense on field position. So Robbie Gould has got to make all his field goals. He's got to make his kicks. That's just something that he's been really good at. That's why we have him. I mean, he's been playing for ages. So I feel San Francisco 49ers are going to do their thing, and this weekend they are going to win it. All right, so that's it for today. I will be going to see you later.